Thank you in advance for helping make this a manageable meeting. Copies of the agenda item materials are available for public viewing on the table located at the back of the meeting room. These materials are not to leave the table, so others in attendance may also view them. Please turn phones to vibrator off during the meeting and conduct any sidebar conversations outside the meeting room. Interruption or other interference with the orderly conduct of the PCBOA meeting will not be allowed. Defamatory or abusive remarks are always out of order. Disruptive persons will be removed from the meeting. The chair may terminate a speaker's privilege of address if, after being called to order, the speaker persists in improper conduct or remarks. Written material concerning agenda items must be submitted to the Environmental Services Department by 3:30 p.m. on the Wednesday immediately prior to the meeting date. Written materials will not be accepted after this deadline or at the meeting because the PCBOA will not have had sufficient time to review them prior to the meeting. Such material must state the agenda item for which it is being submitted and the name and address of the submitting party. Planning Commission business is conducted first, followed by Board of Adjustment business. The chair will call the meeting to order and explain the meeting procedure. The chair will read each agenda item into the record and ask the applicants to come forward to the presenter's table, state his or her name for the record, and explain his or her request. The PCBOA will then discuss the agenda item with the applicant. The chair will then ask for public comment on the agenda item. To facilitate an orderly, efficient meeting, there is a 3-minute speaking time limit per speaker per agenda item unless the chair allows the speaker additional time. The chair may terminate the speaker's privilege of address if, after being called to order, the speaker persists in improper conduct or remarks. When the chair recognizes the speaker, she or he may approach the audience podium and microphone, state his or her full name and address for the record, and write such on the speaker log, and then share his or her comments. The audience podium microphone must be used by the recognized speaker because the meeting is recorded. A member of the public may not donate his or her speaking time to another speaker. A speaker should state his or her comments and address the issue, not the applicants. All comments are to be directed toward the PCBOA. Please do not repeat comments already made by previous speakers. The chair reserves the right to ask a group with similar comments to appoint a spokesperson. If written comments have been submitted to the PCBOA, please do not read them aloud during the meeting as they are already a part of the record and copies thereof have been given to the PCBOA. After everyone wanting to speak on an agenda item has done so, the chair will close the public comment period on the agenda item. No further public comment will be taken after this point. The chair will give the applicant an opportunity to address issues raised during public comment. The PCBOA will then continue its discussion on the agenda item, and the chair will entertain a motion on it. The PCBOA may make a motion to pass, deny, or table the item. Once a motion is made and seconded, the PCBOA will develop a findings of facts for conditional use permit and variance applications, and then vote on the motion. Once a vote is taken on the agenda item, the PCBOA will move on to the next agenda item. Meetings commence at 6:00 p.m. and continue until all agenda items have been heard or until 10 p.m. No new agenda items shall be considered after 9:45 p.m. The PCBOA may, at its discretion, continue an item that is on the floor at 10 p.m. Any remaining agenda items shall be continued to another date and time, preferably the immediately following Tuesday at 6 p.m., and no further public comment will be provided for such a meeting continuation. The PCBOA, through the chair, may modify these procedures prior to the meeting or an agenda item. All right, thank you. First order of business would be Planning Commission minutes, and since we did not have any, there will be no minutes for the Planning Commission. Also no old business or new business. So we are up to the Board of Adjustment approval of minutes.
This is Veronica. I make a motion to approve the November 24th, 2025 Board of Adjustment minutes as presented.
This is Timothy. I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Tim, how do you vote?
It's Tim, I vote aye.
Ken?
This is Ken, I vote aye.
Veronica?
Veronica, I vote aye.
Mike?
Mike, I vote aye.
And this is Larry. I also vote aye to approve the minutes of the November 24th meeting. Seeing no old business on the agenda, we will move to new business. And our first item is variance application 62V25 by Thomas and Theresa Ingman, Lot 15, Silver Sands, Section 6, Township 139, Range 33, Crow Wing Lake Township on Big Stoney Lake. A recreational development lake, parcel 064501-300. Applicants are requesting after-the-fact variances from Part 1, Section 703 of the Shoreline Management Ordinance for a deck located within the 30-foot ordinary high water mark setback that exceeds the 15% waterward setback allowance, and Part 2, Section 502.2 of the SMO for an accessory structure located within the 100-foot ordinary high water setback. And I don't believe there's anybody here to represent this variance.
That is correct, Mr. Chair. The applicant mentioned that he would not make it to the meeting tonight.
Correct, okay. So at this time, I'll open for public comment. Seeing no public comment, we will close public comment. Do any of the board members have any comments?
This again, I think, just for the record, should enter some of the facts if we're going to proceed. It seems to indicate that these two variances existed 6 years ago when the current owners bought it, so I don't know how long they've been there. There is a heavy berm along the entire shoreline, which pretty much protects from runoff. I don't think there's any visibility from the lake, and really there's no alternative. This is a very unique shape, sized, and heavily protected by a wetland, which makes it difficult to do anything other than what the applicant has provided.
This is Veronica speaking. I agree, during the lot views, I did see the large ice berm as well, and also by the 8x10 shed, there was several trees for some taller trees for some coverage there, right towards the back. There was just a few that I thought was gonna be some vegetation. Doesn't really show much. It's been there for years. I'm okay with leaving it in its place. My question was, the decks have appeared to been moved in different various locations. Do we have any concerns with that they just stay in this spot? Really question for you guys if you wanted them, because he can obviously move them, and which he has by the photos that we've seen.
I don't think there's any other location that's viable on the property.
So it needs to remain in your eyes where they're at.
Probably the best, the deck, of course, and the shed is very guarded by being up against that small garage.
Right.
And,
The deck in the photos, Ken, that we've seen, some of the deck was removed and then utilized down in this area. It was.
Yeah, this is Tim. I think it'd get confusing if we allowed them to move them around.
Correct. Right, and I just didn't know if that should be a condition that it is what the application states as it's, make
Right.
sure whatever the motion is, that it is right there as the
Yeah.
site plan.
Yeah, good point.
Just because those pictures that he showed, they were like along the side of the house, what it appeared.
Yep.
So you're proposing a condition that the deck has to be located as shown
In the
on
site
this,
plan.
on this particular drawing.
Yeah, and that drawing and the site plan also shows
Yeah.
the where it's
Yeah.
positioned.
Yeah. Good point.
This is Larry. I mean, the variance as presented shows them where they're at with no consideration for anywhere else, so
Correct, but since they're not in the ground, they're just sitting on top of the ground, on top of those stones that
Yeah.
it's really not it's kind of a movable structure
correct.
sort of thing.
Yeah, no, I have no problem putting it in as a condition that that's where they stay, but that's, should be
Yeah.
pretty much a foregone conclusion, I guess, but.
Yep.
Any other comments, or I'd be open to a motion?
This is Mike. Was there a written complaint for this in the beginning, or is there a neighbor that has a problem with it, or is it just,
It was complaint driven, yes.
Was.
Someone questioned it. I don't know what, it was a complaint.
Well, this is Veronica speaking. There really is no other place, that it can meet the 100-foot setback. And obviously, since it's a small lot, it's not going to meet the minimum 30-foot ordinary high watermark setback for the deck either. So, I mean, I'm content with moving forward and approving it after the fact. They're very limited, and it's not like their request, you know, they're asking for a lakeside wraparound.
Right.
Eric, do you know, did someone actually file a complaint or just raise the question as to whether the owner had a permit for it? Do you know?
It was a complaint that was submitted.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion that we accept the two after-the-fact variance conditions proposed in the application, with the condition that the dock or the deck be permanently located where it is showing in the application. As for findings of facts, let me get to the page here. Number one is a variance in harmony with the general purposes and intent of official controls. The structures are constrained in location because of the lot size, shape, and the wetland. Structures are modest and reasonable. There's a large berm and shrubbery along the shoreline which protects the lakes from any runoff. Therefore, it is considered in harmony with the intent of the shoreline management ordinance as it protects, the lake is protected. Number two is a property owner proposing to use the property in a reasonable manner not permitted by official controls. The small usable deck and shed are reasonable structures for a lake lot. And I would propose we accept the comments from the staff report for the next three.
This is Larry, I'll second that motion. So we have a motion and a second to accept this variance as stated. Tim, how do you vote?
This is Tim, I vote aye.
Ken?
This is Ken, I vote aye.
Veronica?
Veronica, I vote aye.
Mike?
Mike, I vote aye.
And this is Larry, I also vote aye. Okay, moving on. Here we go. All right, variance application 63V-25 by Doug Franzen, Lot 13, Block E, First Edition to Pine Haven Beach, Section 17, Township 139, Range 34, Hubbard Township on Long Lake, a recreational development lake. Parcel 1438-43-800. Applicant is requesting an after-the-fact variance from Section 702A1 and 9046 of the Shoreline Management Ordinance for enlargement of a non-conforming structure that made it more non-conforming and for increasing the lot's non-conforming impervious surface area percentage. You want to come forward to the presenters' tables, please? State your name and address for the record, please, and a brief description of your variance.
My name is Doug Franzen. My address is 2016 Bauer Road, Pensacola, Florida, 32506. My request for variance is to allow the current roof that has been installed to remain in place despite the fact that it increases the nonconformance of the structure. We've been fighting damage to the structure based on water runoff and seepage of snow melting water off the roof behind our aluminum siding that my parents installed on the place probably 30 years ago. and the rain and the dampness has seeped underneath the siding into the interior walls and into the floor. In order to reduce the damage on the inside, we made efforts to try to come up with a solution that would push the water farther away from the side of the structure. And the way that was done was to add an eave. The original structure, the roof of the original structure just stopped at the side wall. So I think there's about, around the perimeter of the house, there's about a 2-foot eave that's been added with the new roof, which indeed did stop the damage to the structure.
Okay, very good, thank you. Any initial questions from the board before I open to public comment? Seeing none, I will open to public comment. Seeing none, I will close public comment. Okay, it's back to us.
Looking for some comments from,
Yes.
yeah, just, this is Ken, just once again, some facts that at least I think play into any choice or decision we make. The nonconformance increase of impervious surface basically is merely driven by the 2-foot overhang, which is reasonable on the roof, but not the basic footprint. And from what I could see, I don't see this structure change having any effect on the lake. The structure's almost 100 feet, and the whole shoreline, because of that, of the, I'll call it a controlled access lot, or that lot that's, that beach area that belongs to, the township or the county, basically is all natural environment, vegetation. So I don't see any material impact of any water, stormwater runoff. And I think the topography is such that everything flows left into the controlled access lot as opposed to running down in front. So the two things I'm concerned about, does it affect the lake, and the nonconformance with regards to impervious surface. I think neither one of those are significant impacts.
This is Larry. I agree with Ken that, yeah, as far as impact to the property or the lake, it's minimal. I think the bigger concern here is the failure to get a permit or check with environmental services at all before we started on this. And I don't know the situation here. I don't know your relationship with each other, but somewhere the ball got dropped here big time.
Yes, sir.
And I guess I would like somewhat of an explanation of how we can keep this from happening again.
Yes, sir. The ball got dropped. I guess my urgency to get the job done was to reduce and to try to limit any subsequent damage to the structure of the house. And once we got started in solving the problem, we just kept going forward.
Okay.
We had to replace some flooring, we had to replace sidewalls, and the insurance company was involved, and they were definitely interested in proceeding as quickly as possible. So I guess it should have dawned on me that we probably needed to try to get a permit. But from being away for so many years. I was in the service for 30 years, and I didn't really get a chance to come up here and see how things were developing, so I don't really have any excuse, sir.
Okay.
This is Veronica speaking. I also wanted to note that there's just a small change as well with the reduction in the road right-of-way. I believe during our lot views, the cabin also sits kind of down from the road. You had to step down towards it to get towards the house, the cabin, is that correct? The road kind of sits up a little higher?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I don't see much of a problem with the road right-of-way distance that has changed either. I am in agreement with our chairman as far as the after the fact and the negligence on getting a permit. So any future additions if you do any deck stuff, please reach out to Environmental Services before making any changes.
Yes. Lesson learned.
Yes. Do you plan on, I know we kind of talked about gutters during the situation there, just because you have a metal roof now and your runoff's going to be a little different. I know the topography, you're almost 100 feet away and you've got a lot of natural environment, but I was just curious if you had considered guttering or what you're going to do with that water, how you're going to mitigate that water off that roof.
Whatever needs to be done, we'll do it. If we need gutters on the place, I can certainly add them to do, I guess, I don't know, do I need to get an engineering review of the place, or can I just accept the fact that if we add gutters to the place and direct the water away from the house, will that be sufficient?
Oh, absolutely, away from the house and away from the lake. My concern was where your water's gonna come off, it's gonna go onto the deck. I'm imagining you're gonna be changing your deck out in the future, possibly around there.
Yes, it needs to be replaced.
Again, before any changes, make sure you ask and call Environmental Services to see what you're allowed to do and any changes before and what permits are needed if you do that in the
Certainly,
future. So.
will do.
This is Ken. It would seem to me you'd absolutely want to put gutters. I think on the backside to the right as we're looking at this picture, and whatever runoff you would have there or erosion. And here you got that deck, the water just gonna run and bounce off it and against the house. I would think you'd absolutely wanna put gutters and then have them, direct them as best you can to the, I'm calling it controlled access lot. That's really not the right definition for it, but that public lot next door. 'Cause
We've
it's the
always called it
it's the low
conservation
area.
property is what
What?
we've always called it. Conservation property is
Okay.
really,
That I think if you do the right thing with your gutters off the front and direct it down into that lowland area would be the best for everything.
yes, sir.
Do we want to maybe suggest a condition that gutters be placed?
Sure.
And the water directed to the low-lying area in the conservation lot? Where it's going now anyway.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you ready for a motion then?
I am, yes.
This is Veronica. I make a motion to approve the after-the-fact variance 63-V-25 as presented, with the condition that gutters be placed on the property, on the cabin, and the water being directed towards the conservation lot and away from the lake. And we adopt the staff's findings of facts.
Just Ken will second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept this variance with the addition of gutters as a condition on this variance. Tim, how do you vote?
This is Tim, I vote aye.
Ken?
Ken, I vote aye.
Veronica?
Veronica, I vote aye.
Mike?
Mike, I vote aye.
And this is Larry, I also vote aye. Thank you very much. You will get a letter from Environmental Services.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, I'm assuming as a matter of record, we need to go through the variance application 64V25 by Pamela Greene. I won't read the rest of it. She would like this variance tabled at the request of the homeowner. Do we need to vote on that, or?
No, just what you said is sufficient. It will be placed on the April 2026 meeting agenda at her request.
Okay,
So we should keep this document then.
Yeah, if you can, otherwise I'm sure we'll provide another copy, because that's a few months out.
all right.
We printed one.
That's all we have for official business. Any miscellaneous?
Just that the January agenda currently has one preliminary plat application, and we're probably at a half dozen variance applications so far.
Okay.
So it'll be a atypically large January agenda.
Okay. Very good. Anything else from anybody?
Actually, a lot for January.
All right, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
This is Veronica, I make the motion to adjourn.
This is Tim, I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Tim, how do you vote?
Tim, I vote aye.
Ken?
And I vote aye.
Veronica?
Veronica, I vote aye.
Mike?
Mike, I vote aye.
And this is Larry. I also vote aye. And Merry Christmas to all.
Merry Christmas. Great job.